Good morning, everybody. How are we doing? Sammy United People's TV. It's Monday. It's the international break, I know, but we'll be here all week long. It's still 8 days until Nottingham Forest. This feels like, I think this must be the longest break that we've had because it was internationals and then there's an FA Cup weekend as well. Going to run through everything. We're going to have a little bit of a conversation about Jadon Sancho this morning. I think it was last week when I said, you know what, I just really can't be bothered to speak about Jadon Sancho. I really can't be bothered to sort of... And here we go again. After a confirmation yesterday by David Ornstein that Chelsea have got simply a get-out clause, I'll call it, for an obligation. An obligation exists until you do it at Manchester United. We'll run through and we'll discuss that as a community. Run through all the internationals. Dorgu was involved yesterday. So was Eriksson, Højlund, Bruno and Dalot. We'll also have a little conversation about Felix, is it Nmecha? From Dortmund. Some reports from Germany over the weekend that United are interested in Hugo Ekitike and Jonathan David. And you will fire in your comments as you always do. Who had a good weekend? What did you get up to? Who misbehaved? Let me know in the comments. Let me see who's here from the mod and the member gang. Stephanie, good morning to you. Carl, I saw you to start the show as always. Alex, good morning to you, buddy. We've got Rex, we've got Dan Jonas, we've got Sean, we've got Sigmund. Good morning to you, dude. Gift a little membership to the Big Mavinsky. Makes me want to, every time I see your username, I want to watch the Big Lebowski again. It's been a long time since I watched that. Nightwolf, C-Bomb, and we've got Rob and Akash. Good morning, everybody. Hope you all have a good show. Let me know what you think in the comments. All right. Jonathan, you're saying, good morning, Sam. It's been a while. Someone will buy Sancho. In my opinion, it's inevitable. Really, you think it's inevitable that someone's going to put actual, real, genuine money down for him? Don't know. John T, you moved house over the weekend. Well, congratulations that you've done it. But commiserations that you had to do it. Moving house is not fun for anybody. Woo. Alex, your kid made his debut for his team, scored a goal and got 2 assists. Proud dad, round of applause there. Come on. Right. Can I just say to everyone, quick sort of run through of something I did last week. I said I was going to came up with like a little idea for a series we could do during the international break that I think would actually be content that you'd all enjoy. So we did a little 3-part series, one which was looking at United's actual transfer strategy, running through that, the top levels and the top lines. And then we did a 2-part series looking into players that we could bring through from the academy to become our new right wing back next season. We spoke about Jadon Sancho and we spoke about Bendito Mantato. And then we followed that up by doing a video on 3 potential options that we could have as a new right wing back. We spoke about Mintef from Brighton. We spoke about Roger Fernandez from Braga. And we spoke about Tyler Dibbling. And these are just options. Like, big up to Steve, big up to Luca, who really got involved and helped a lot with this research, especially on both of them. And you enjoyed them. So I think what we're probably going to do is make this a sort of format that we can do regularly on the channel. So maybe further down the line, we could take a look at centre forwards and do the same thing. Or we could look at powerful, athletic central midfielders and do the same thing. All right. So I just want to say thank you all for watching those and leaving your comments, because some of the comments were awesome, man. There was one comment. Let me see if I can bring it up. Where did I put it? I'll put it in this channel. There was one comment that I really, really liked. Yeah, that was it. Ryan Phelan, if you're watching, Ryan. And I'll explain why I like this comment so much. There you go. I think you can see this. It says this. It said, your comment section is easily the most informed and well-intentioned of any fan channel I've ever seen. Ruben would be humble but not surprised. An antidote to hostile styles that is elsewhere. And the reason that it sort of stood out to me is because everything that Ryan has said there is everything that I work towards with the community that we're building, with the comments that I hope we see on videos, with the videos that we put out. I just really, really liked it. Because I've always enjoyed the comments, man. Like, people actually get involved, they chat, they don't just shout at each other like an angry pub. So big up to Ryan for that. It was a wicked comment. Matthew saying, I reckon Dibbling will end up at Liverpool as Salah's replacement. someone is going to sign Tyler Dibbling this summer, right? Nightwolf, of course, Dibbling could be a right-sided number 10, and Ahmad could be the right wing-back. Ahmad we put down as a third option from an internal perspective. I think when you look at the academy, you've got these two lads who could potentially be given an opportunity. It depends where you want to. It's where you calculate your risks, all right? Because you might come to me and say, Sam, United can't possibly take a risk on promoting Mantato or Camerson into our right wing back. We have to sign somebody who's Premier League experienced and established. And then you could go, right, okay, well, the other risk is we could go out and sign Minte, for example, for 50 million from Brighton. Experienced, Premier League experience, quality. But then the risk comes in the fact that you spent 50 million on a midfielder rather than promoting from the academy. So there is no such thing as a risk-free signing or a risk-free promotion. It depends where you take your gamble. And it may well be that United decide to promote from within and spend that money on a right wing forward position instead. Rex, you are impressed with the lack of glare. It's a little smidge, but it's about as little as I could make the light whilst also actually having light on my face. And I tell you what, people, I'll ask this now. There's a bit of a random question, right? I'm hoping to complete on the house move in the next few weeks. So if there is anybody who works inside sort of interior design or has sort of software that could do it and wants to get involved and help, I'd love to work with somebody to design a brand new studio. I've already started drawing some stuff out of what I think could work and what I think would look awesome. And Alex, if you could take, I think I've asked you this before actually, if you could take any ideas from the community and then just fire them over to me, all ideas are welcome, all right? Because I want to do something new. I don't just want to repeat this in the new studio. I want to make it a little bit fresh whilst keeping some stuff and touches that sort of we've used across all of our studios so far. So anybody who gets involved in that, please email me, sam@unitedpeoples.tv. It's a very easy email address. And yeah, I just thought it'd be cool to involve the community in some way, shape or form in how we make the new studio, because this will be the big one. This will be the big one. I think there's a couple of super chats there. Let me read these out before we skip on to talk about the internationals. Mr. Bang, you're saying, morning, I'm hearing that Onana is on the transfer list. Oblak is 30 mil, so it's a no-brainer. How old is Oblak now? I don't even know. Yeah, well, I don't think Onana's got a guaranteed future at United whatsoever anymore. I think there's only one person who's responsible for that, and that'll be himself. I don't know whether United are going to have the funds to move Onana on and replace him this summer. I think there are other positions which are bigger priorities than replacing Onana this summer. That would be my personal opinion. Oblak's only 32. Is it still the case when you look at goalkeepers that, well, they can go until they're like 40? Can't they? Don't know. You might look at someone younger that a couple of, for off the top of my head, a couple of goalkeepers that United could consider would be Zion Suzuki, who we tried to sign. But he moved to Belgium because he wanted regular football before he's now moved to Parma and he's nailing it in Serie A. And then you've got James Trafford, who's obviously having a ridiculous season in the Championship with Burnley because Scott Parker is playing like the most... They've conceded like 11 goals all season. I can't remember how old Van der Sar was when he came, but as we agreed last week, he was one of those players that you wished you signed him a few years earlier. Yeah, I don't personally think that we'll look at replacing Onana this summer. I do think there's a very strong possibility now. Transformational, Sam. Well done. Well done, mate. Right, let's speak about the internationals yesterday. There were a lot of goals in the Nations League yesterday. It was like France beat, who was it? Croatia on penalties after coming from a 2-0 deficit. Portugal beat Denmark like 5-4, 5-3 on aggregate. Spain and Netherlands were pumping in goals against each other as well, and I can't remember what the game was. What was the other game? To be fair, I mean, I could just do this and then show you the results rather than trying to remember them all. It's probably a simpler thing to do, really. Pretty accurate, though. So, yeah, France beat Croatia on penalties. Germany and Italy, that was the other one. Portugal and Denmark. Portugal won 5-2 on aggregate. No, they won 5-2 on the night. Is it 5-2 on the night? I think it was. Sod knows. Who cares? Who cares about internationals? Anyway, there's a few United players involved yesterday. Dorgu got a cracking little assist. He was down there on the left-hand side, and it was just a lovely... I mean, it's a simple ball when you pull it off simply. Simple ball across the box. Christian Eriksen there to tap in at the back post. Christian Eriksen with a goal and an assist yesterday for Denmark. They may have lost. He had a good performance. Patrick Dorgu played 97 minutes before he came off. Eriksen got about 70, 75, I think. And so did Højlund. Højlund scored in the first game. Whipped out to Sue. Ronaldo scored in this game. Do you see Ronaldo's penalty? The technique on that Ronaldo penalty was mad. Absolutely mad. Can't believe he did that. Anyway, Denmark are out. And in the least surprising news of the year, right? Bruno Fernandes played every single minute. Another 120 minutes. Another extra time. And Bruno played the whole bloody game. I've said it so many times. Someone needs to do tests on him. Like, what blood type is Bruno? Like, what are his lungs doing? We talked about, like, Park Ji-sung. And it was sort of 3-lung Park. What is it, 4-lung Bruno? I don't know. His capacity and his recovery ability is just... It's not particularly human. It really isn't. Anyway, Bruno played. Now, it's the only way I can intro this bit. Like, people talking about Bruno's sort of genetics. I think it's Bruno's lifestyle as much as Bruno's genetics. Siraj saying, "Don't jinx Bruno," mate. If anyone's gonna jinx Bruno, I don't think you're going to. He's been doing this for like his entire career. This is just Bruno. Every time I think Bruno needs a rest, he ends up playing more. And he looks fine for it. No idea. But Jadon Sancho, right? That's all I can do when I talk about him, man. I said it in the pod this morning, right? You know how Michael Owen is a player who, like, of all the clubs he played for, I'm not sure there's any fan base that likes him. United fans don't like Michael Owen. Liverpool fans don't like Michael Owen because he played for United. Newcastle fans definitely don't like Michael Owen. I was thinking like maybe Real Madrid fans like him. I don't really know. But Jadon Sancho, right? Freedom. Mr. Freedom Man, as he's been called in the comments there. When he went on loan to Chelsea with that obligation, I just sat back and I went, finally. That feels good. And the first question I want to ask you here, right, before we dive into this article and we run through what David Ornstein's reported on this. Researchers in the chat. Is there any, maybe there are, but I don't know about them. Is there any other transfer that has happened in the Premier League? It doesn't really have to be in the Premier League, just in like one of the top 5 leagues in the past where a club has signed someone on loan with an obligation and has then not signed that player, has backed out of that obligation. Has it happened before? It might have happened before, but I don't know. I'm genuinely curious. But the story here from David Ornstein is this. That Chelsea have got to pay United, or Chelsea have effectively got a get-out clause for this obligation, which, by the looks of it, is not an obligation. Chelsea will have to pay United £5 million if they do not complete the signing of Jadon Sancho on a permanent deal. He joined last summer on a season-long loan, which included an obligation to buy for up to £25 million. But part of the agreement, it was decided that Chelsea could opt against proceeding with the full transfer by giving United a set fee. Now, what's your comments on this in the chat, right? My sort of... This is just embarrassing for everybody involved apart from Chelsea. Chelsea are the only winners in this situation. They've got a player on loan. Hasn't worked out. They took a gamble. They should now be lumbered with the obligation that we gave to them. But we gave them a back door. I think the thing I'm most angry about with this is the size of that fee. Right? There's an obligation for you to sign Sancho for 25 million. We know what he's like, right? He's at our football club. It could have worked out, right? It could have worked out for Sancho at Chelsea, just like it could have worked out for Sancho at United. He decided not to make the most of his opportunities. At United, he put his own pride first before his professionalism. The thing that's pissed me off about this is that only being 5 million, right? If the obligation is 25 million pounds, right, Chelsea, if you want to back out of that, pay 50% of it. It seems like quite a straightforward and simple thing, but because it's not something that ever really, as I said in the comments, I think somebody's mentioned Falcao down there. I don't know about any others. I'm going to have to do some research, but this wouldn't have happened much. So United saying, look, all right, well, we've got an obligation there, which you've agreed to. That's why he's joining you on loan. If you want to back out of it, I don't know, 50%. You have to pay 50%. So 12.5 million. Chelsea would not be paying that. Chelsea would be signing Sancho with that obligation and then dealing with the problem themselves. Instead, like Tony is saying, perhaps it's 5 mil in wages. Again, in the chat, I was trying to look this morning, but I couldn't find any confirmation. What percentage of Sancho's wages did Chelsea cover? You know how Real Betis covered like 86% of Antony's wages? I think it was north of 50%, but I don't particularly know exactly what it was. But 5 million is effectively just kind of like a bit of a loan fee. I think the biggest balls up here is the fact that United allowed that clause to exist in the contract. We gave Chelsea a back door. And Chelsea, right, if there's one club that's going to do this, they must spend more on lawyers looking through contracts and just looking for loopholes. It is a big part of their business model. Is finding ways to bend the rules, is finding back doors out of deals into contracts around PSR rules. It's what they do. And they're doing it to us. So I can't blame Chelsea for it. I'd want United to, if United had the opportunity to take the piss like that and get out of a situation our club shouldn't be in, well, I would rather our club wasn't in, then I would want them to do it. But it's just embarrassing, all right. Like Jadon Sancho, like you're looking in the mirror, like the club that you have been loaned to by the club who bought you but doesn't want you. Now that club that has an obligation to buy you is willing to literally put £5 million in an oil barrel, pour petrol on it, and light it, and send you on your merry way. Not literally put 5 million in a barrel, but maybe. They are willing to just pay 5 million as a fine to not have you at their football club. How bad are you? How many opportunities do you want? You know how some players get really harsh treatment from the media. They really do. And some players get it worse than others, and it's not fair and reflective across all footballers. Jadon Sancho deserves no leeway. Jadon Sancho deserves no sympathy. He is here as a consequence of his choices and the way he has conducted himself. And he's gone back to London. He's gone back to... Where was he from originally? Is it South London? I can't remember exactly in London. But he's from London. He's going back closer to home. It's a more comfortable environment. He's leaving United. It's a new start. Nah. Exact same thing's happening again. 21 is coming. I hope it is 21 is coming. He's saying one day he will look back with regret. I've maintained that for about at least 6 months now. Probably longer than that. He's going to be an old man on a rocking chair on his porch going, probably should have done that differently. Really should have done that differently. Is he from Watford? There you go. Someone sent a super chat. Let me read this. And I'm going to go read some of your comments out on this. See if you agree with me. And you're saying, is that why Ashworth got sacked? Ashworth was, no, I think it was the end of August, I think, that Jadon Sancho joined Chelsea, wasn't it? So Ashworth was in at that point in time. And you imagine he was involved. Sancho's career has suffered because of Woodward. Akash, I cannot disagree with that comment anymore. Sancho's career has stalled because of Sancho. End of story. Don't look elsewhere. Oh, the club, the manager didn't like the manager. I had a bad house. No excuses can be given to Jadon Sancho. He's been given opportunities that so many people would bite your hand off. Right, let me see what I know. Linton saying, sorry, Sam, but Sancho is... No, all right, okay, not reading that one up. If you think of Sancho as an asset, this isn't that bad. Barry, look, I understand the logic of that. Right? The logic of, well, actually, it's kind of a win-win situation for Manchester United because we get 5 million and he comes back and then we can sell him. How much confidence would you have that we could sell Sancho? He's such an unsellable player. United are there, like, United are a door-to-door salesman, right? Right, so we've got a player here, Jadon Sancho. Really good footballer. Here's some highlights from a couple of years ago, when he was actually good. But he's on 300 grand a week, which you're going to have to pay because, that's how much he's on. Yeah, so that puts him in roughly the top 1% of earners. So there's that. And also he's joined Chelsea on loan and he's pretty awful, actually. So they don't want him. And he was actually at United before and, well, a couple of years, I actually fell out with the manager, called his manager a liar in public and refused to apologise and then got ostracised and then left out training for 3 or 4 months. Yeah, and then also, to let you know, all information. And then previously, he was given 3 months off by his club to sort of reset himself, came back, did the exact same thing. Do you want to buy him? He only costs £25 million and 300 grand a week. He's not unsellable, right? There's going to be much harder players to sell by that, but it's just, what a crap situation. And look, yeah, maybe we can try and look at a silver lining of, but I do not care, right? I don't want Sancho anywhere near my club. I don't care if, and I do, and I think Ruben Amorim is the right manager, but I don't want Ruben Amorim to give this man any of his time. I would much rather Ruben Amorim invested that time into other players that I think are far more deserving of that time and opportunity than Jadon Sancho. Burned, done, and now United are going to be lumbered. That's the thing that's annoying me as well. It now means this summer United are going to have to... Because Chelsea will do this. Why wouldn't they? 2 situations, right? Number one, you could sign Sancho for 25 million. And then have his wage on the books for a player you don't want, or you can just pay 5 mil and then it's gone. They've already signed Kenda. Of course, he's not coming for another year. Who else are they looking at? Well, they're probably going to get more right wingers, all 47 of them. There's a couple of super chats. Let me read these out, and then I'll read some more of your comments out. Do you think I'm being overly harsh here? I really don't think I am. Rex, you're saying Chelsea activating this mean that they don't feel as though they can make a profit on a 25 million fee they pay. I don't think it's about profit. I think it's about they're looking at a blank going, I do not want that lad anywhere near my team, man. I don't want him anywhere near my books. I'm not paying 300 grand a week for that. Are you kidding me? That's why. Regardless of profit. Jack, you're saying, is this an example of Jim doing a favour for the team he has a season ticket for? Adding a stupid get out clause of 5 mil. Hey, Jack, if you really think that I know Ratcliffe's overly involved compared to what I thought. But to suggest that Ratcliffe is sitting there adding 5 million clauses into contracts for loans with Chelsea. It's like, come on, man. Come on, man. Nishan, by the way, Sam, when you said you were done talking about Sancho, I kind of had the feeling you spoke too soon. Well, yes, I did speak too soon. I didn't expect. I didn't expect this. Look, Akash, I seriously, I don't know what you're going in on. I don't know how you're trying to put blame on the fact that the club has given him wages. It's part of United's stupid wage structure. Sancho's another great example of another player that we are lumbered with that hasn't lived up to expectations and that we can't move on as a consequence. But he is at fault for the situation he is in. And anybody who tries to suggest otherwise, oh, it was this situation, it was that, sod that, man. Look inwards. And Jadon Sancho, by the way, was a massive he was really, really good friends with Rashford. And this is the sort of influence. I think this one's probably. Would you say there's a question here? Would you say there's a more disappointing transfer than Jadon Sancho? Now, like you could talk about Di Maria, like you could talk about Di Maria, but I mean when we signed Jadon Sancho, right? I can only speak about my own opinion here, right? We tried to sign him the summer before when he was like walloping that Dortmund team that had Bellingham, Haaland, Sancho. He was the most exciting English winger in world football, and he was 20. And we signed him when he was 21, and he joined that Ole Solskjaer team. And I thought, this feels like a United signing, man. He was the right age. He had all that exciting experience. He was 21. He had a whole career ahead of him. Like, people going down there and talking about Alexis Sanchez, it's like, no, I don't even think it's close. Like, in terms of the disappointment, like, we signed Alexis Sanchez because we gave him more money than City did. That's why he signed. That's why he joined. He was never going to make a huge long-term legacy at the club, but he disappointed. But Jadon Sancho, I thought that we had a player there that for the next 3, 4, 5 years, we could just watch a player really flourish into a world-class star at United, and instead we just got shafted. People saying Anthony down there as well. Again, that my excitement was nowhere near the same level for Anthony than it was for Jadon Sancho. I can only speak for myself. I think I would probably put Di Maria and Sancho in a similar sort of conversation. Pogba, I thought, had plenty more moments and plenty more examples in the United shirt of I actually enjoyed watching him play, especially that 3-4 month period. What was it? Was that after Ole signed his contract? You know, when Pogba became, that's when I went to Fulham away, and that's when he banged in a goal. Martial scored as well. So no, I wouldn't put Pogba. I'd put Sancho at a different level to Pogba. Sancho on a level that I think only Di Maria can get close to in terms of the disappointment of him as a United player. And I would be amazed. I would be amazed if Chelsea didn't pay that. I'd be amazed if Chelsea didn't pay that. Don't let your emotions cloud your opinion. Sancho was worse than Sancho. Well, no, it's just my opinion. You just disagree with it. Don't let your emotions cloud your opinion, which I disagree with. This is my opinion. Nah. Sancho was more disappointing than Sanchez was. I think Sanchez was the most. I think Sanchez still goes down as the single worst transfer that we made as a football club post-Fergie because of the lasting damage it had. That was the ripple effect. Remember when Herrera, a year after, was then chasing more money, and simply because Sanchez was on a ridiculous amount of money. It was kind of fair to ask for. And then Herrera left, and then all the other sort of ripple effects that have happened after. Sanchez is definitely the worst, but just I really hope the Sky Sports news are correct on this, by the way. I really hope that they're correct. That Chelsea are still expected to sign Sancho. I don't know why they would. Jadon Sancho's got what? However many games left this season to actually do something in a Chelsea shirt. I don't really know if he can do anything that's going to make them want to sign him. Embarrassing for everybody. As I said, the only winner in this situation is Chelsea. And that just pisses me off. That just pisses me off. What else is he saying down there? Sanchez even said how bad the environment was. Yeah. Man, we have... There is no other football club in the Premier League that has like a top 10 worst transfers list than United when it comes to money spent versus return. Like, we are the king of wastage. No one comes close. Who would you say would come a close second as a football club? Liverpool went through a period, you know, when they were signing like Andy Carroll and Voronin. Who else they signed? They signed loads of players like that. Gwynich knows. They wasted tons of money, and then they ended up getting their recruitment right with like Suarez and stuff like that. They wasted a good amount of money, but still nowhere near what United have wasted post-Fergie. Like, you've got Anthony at the top. You've got Di Maria in there. You've got Sanchez. And you've got, well, how much? I don't know how much we spent on Sanchez. Chelsea, maybe, but Chelsea are good at selling as well. Annoyingly. Andy Carroll, 50 mil. That's nuts. Barcelona? Yeah, Barcelona done pretty bad, to be fair. Barcelona's not a bad shout. But Chelsea spend millions and millions on crap players, but they sell millions and millions. If I went to look at how much Chelsea, just out of curiosity, right? Chelsea transfer history. How much do you think Chelsea made in player sales last summer? I've got no idea what this number is, but I imagine it's going to be high. So last summer they spent 276 million and they made 228. So they made over double what United did. Season before, 464 million. I hate that club so much. 278 million on sales. You get the point I'm trying to make here. 630. Jeez! Forgot, was that when they signed Enzo? My God. What a football club. And they... How can you get away with that? You get the point, though. Chelsea are better at selling. This football club. Jadon Sancho. Woof. All right, let's move on. Let's have a couple of conversations about some other players. Jonathan David, you got reports from France suggesting that the sort of... the conversations have started between Jonathan David's representatives and Premier League clubs. United, Arsenal, Spurs. United need a striker. Arsenal need a striker. Spurs have got Solanke. Is Son a striker or does Son play off the left? I don't actually know. I mean, maybe Spurs as well. I don't think Jonathan David's going to be too short of options. I don't know whether Jonathan David is going to be the solution to Manchester United's goal-scoring problems. However, Jonathan David is free. Richarlison, yeah, of course, he plays for Spurs as well. I imagine it's going to be his representatives. You're going to get something else that's going to come out about his representatives talking to, I don't know, Bayern or Dortmund or everyone there. It's probably just a bit of a recce. He's already said that he would at some point in his life like to play out in La Liga. So Real Madrid's off the cards. Barcelona are free scoring so much. Who's the understudy to Lewandowski? Don't actually know. Don't imagine you go there. Yeah, I mean, you could go to Atletico Madrid, potentially. Let's have a look. What else is being said down here? Manchester United, dead there. Samuel Luckhurst. I've really got to talk about what Samuel Luckhurst is saying. All right, fine. Let's have a conversation about this. I mean, there's no point in... I wouldn't say these are my favourite videos to do. But I always enjoy doing the videos like the keep or sell videos where I sort of run through... I don't know how accurate I can be in the predictions. But Samuel Luckhurst here saying that United are targeting at least 10 senior departures. It's really not hard. It's really not hard to look at it. If you do the free agents, you've got Lindelof leaving, Eriksen leaving, and Johnny Evans. So that's 3. And then you look at the player sales. You've got Shaw, Malacia, Casemiro. That's 6. Who else? Can't remember off the top of my head now. Oh, Rashford, 7. Anthony, 8. Sancho 9. That's the player we're speaking about next. 10 genuinely feels realistic this summer. It genuinely feels realistic. Keep or sell live stream. My God, that'd be nuts. It hurts my head to even think about doing that as a recorded video right now. Yeah, Tom Heaton as well. So many. I think we just named 10 there. I say it's easy and straightforward, but then you've got to find a buyer for Luke Shaw somehow. Loan with an obligation, which isn't really an obligation. How about you just remove that clause next time, United? Is that what United needed to do to actually get Sancho off the books? They had to include this clause. Either way, that's bad. So, yeah, over the weekend, there was some stories coming out from, what's his name? Patrick Berger, from Germany. And they're talking about Felix Nmecha, who is a midfielder who plays for Dortmund. And if you look at the profile of him and you look at how he plays, he ticks all those boxes of United looking to sign powerful, athletic runners. And I'm not just talking like just runners with no other elements of their game, but the sort of signing that probably wouldn't look too out of place playing alongside Joe Linton in Newcastle in a League Cup final sort of signing. Obviously, the link there with Jason Wilcox, I think it's just one to watch. I think United here, it's March. I think United are just doing their research. United are building the lists and building the candidates. And this is a candidate that sort of you could understand where the links come from. Someone there we can't buy from Dortmund again. They robbed. Just because you have a signing that fails from one club at some point doesn't mean you then go, that's it, I can't deal with them possibly ever again. Jonathan saying it's another City reject. Yeah, well, Cole Palmer was a City reject, so I don't exactly think that's a sweeping rule. It's just one to watch. All right, it's just one to watch. I think it would cost a fair amount of money. Look, price valuation 50 million plus, 50 million euros plus. This is pretty much the top level of what United could afford. I imagine the Ederson and Atalanta, I always call it Atlanta links are going to come back, and this would kind of fall straight into that category as well. Ederson will go there alongside Felix and Nmecha, and there'll be other players that you could put inside that category too. One to keep an eye on, and this is probably one to keep an eye on as well. Brahim Diaz, a City reject as well, yeah. There's plenty of players. James Trafford, who's now absolutely walloping it as the Burnley goalkeeper. I suppose as far as walloping goes with Burnley. Liam Delap, who's looking like a pretty damn good player. There's a lot of City rejects in quotation marks. Anyway, Ekatike, he's just out here as a United fan.
What was your favorite club when you were little?
Manchester United.
He knows. Ekatike is probably going to be one of the names on the list of strikers that we will be looking at. That's going to be Osimhen, Gyökeres, Liam Delap, Jonathan David, Hugo Ekatike, and I'm sure there's going to be others that you could throw onto that list as well. Lots and lots of strikers that we're going to get linked with. Fire it in the comments. I think I ask this probably once a week now. What striker do you actually think we're going to sign? Perez saying we just need Gyökeres. I don't see United being able to afford being able to afford Gyökeres, and B, I don't think he will want. I think he wants Champions League football at the age that he is. Was he 27? I think this is his big move if he moves. So I don't think in the position that he's in his career, and the fact that we are realistically, even if we have 2 good summers, we're a summer or 2 away from really competing at the top, and that's if it goes well. I don't think it fits up and matches with what he wants. And also, when you look at how United, and I've already spoken about that, go back to this video that I did on United's strategy, signing a 27-year-old Gyökeres for premium money doesn't match up. Because then it would have to work out with Gyökeres. We couldn't. It would have to. We'd have no get out with Gyökeres because his value would only be less from that point on. Alex saying, go get a Nmecha clone for less. Magassa, who's he play for? Don't know who that is. Yeah, Manchester United. That's who it is. Osimhen, Sesko, someone saying down there, we will go for Delap. I think if there's one position where I think we have to go for an experienced player, it has to be striker. So I don't know whether Delap is the right option. He's got the Premier League experience, sure, but I think I want experience, man. I want someone who's been there, done that, been in the trenches, came out of the trenches, and is stronger as a consequence. I mean, you could argue Liam Delap being involved in a relegation scrap all season has made him a stronger player, because it probably has. But, nah, not for me. Gyökeres could be our Van Persie. Varun, for Gyökeres to be our Van Persie, we've got to lose the title on goal difference this year. I don't think that's going to happen. Van Persie was just like the perfect. So we lost the title on goal difference. Should we go out and sign the best striker who's in the Premier? Yeah, go on then. Done. Oh, we won the league. What a surprise. Darwin Núñez. Just threw up a couple of times. Rodrigo from Real Madrid. Yeah, good luck with that one. How much will Rodrigo cost? Man, Real Madrid just spoiled. Absolutely spoiled. I mean, I don't think he's leaving. But yeah. Interesting. Cherry on the cake. Yeah, whatever you want to call him. Van Persie was the one. How's he getting on at Feyenoord? Is it Feyenoord? Feyenoord results. Oh yeah. When did he become manager? I can't remember now. Either way, he would have been in charge for that one. Little 6-2 win away at Twente. Come on, the boys. Who scored? Oh, little hat-trick. Very nice. Can't remember how many other games he said. What's he saying down here? Right, let's read a couple more of your comments out. And you're talking about Tony? No, man. I never really thought that the attitude was worth the potential goals and the potential. Yeah, there were too many red flags, I thought. We'll find out. Xerxes is settled as a number 10. Bringing in a striker should be number 1 on our list. Well, I think it's either striker as number 1 on the list or it is right wing back. It's one of those two. Anonymous talking about Cherky. Lots of people have been speaking about Cherky. But again, you know the same way that I've always said this about Jonathan David. It's like, I mean, clearly he's a good footballer. Clearly he's a goal scorer. It's like, why has no one taken the punt on Jonathan David for years? I wouldn't say the exact same thing applies to Ryan Cherky, but clearly he's like a Jogo Bonito player. You watch him and he's just like a glorious playmaker. Extremely creative and his output is nuts. But why is it that no one's taken the punt on him when he was available before? I don't know. I think there are concerns that exist with his attitude, but maybe with the right coach in the right environment, you let that flourish. We'll find out. But we're going to play Lyon in a couple of weeks. And, hot take here quickly. I think United might have to employ a bit of a man marking job on Cherky. I think potentially one of the best players to do that could be Toby Collier. So you might see United in that game sort of stack, certainly away from home anyway. You might see us stack the midfield with an extra body to try and limit how much time he has on the ball, to try and squeeze that out of the Lyon team, because I think the Lyon team effective doesn't operate completely through him, but he's a big heartbeat of it. Just one to watch. But we don't need to speak about that for like a week or so, because we've still got 8 days until the Forest game. And then after that, we've got the build up to, what is it? Forest, then City, then Lyon, then Newcastle. Big old 4 games coming up, and 3 of those are away. Sesko will be your first choice, says Sirloin down there. Sesko would be right up there in the most... I think, price-wise, if I'm correct, the last I saw, Sesko's release clause, which is activated this summer, Sesko's release clause, I think, is in the region of £70 million. Because it's a variable release clause. The better he performs between now and the end of the season, the more that goes up. I think he's having a cracking season. So, I don't think we'll be able to afford Sesko. I think money rules Sesko out. I think no Champions League football and the age will rule Gyökeres out. And Osimhen, I don't know whether he'd agree from a wage perspective. So I don't know. I think those three just seem unlikely for different reasons for me. Just my opinion. All right, you might disagree. It's just my opinion. Now I'm going to wrap that one up. That's actually quite a good Monday show. Thank you all for tuning in. My lunchtime video, I'm going to go in a little bit more depth on the Sancho situation. All right. Thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you get involved. If you are new to United People's TV, please do subscribe and join the best United community in the world. As I said at the start of the show, if there's any of you who are watching who are like either interior designers or you have great ideas that you think could be applied for a new studio, I'm going to be hopefully moving house in a few weeks. And this is going to be gone, and we're going to get the proper permanent United People's TV studio. So what should we involve? Should we get some wood paneling? Should we get some shelving? Should we get some lighting? Should we get some lights custom designed? What could we do or what should we do? You can help me make that decision. All right, so reach out, Sam at United People's TV if you want to get involved. And yeah, that's it for today. All right, I'll be here tomorrow, lunchtime. That's going to be on Sancho. Take it easy.